Hey friends, it's Allison from Determined to Shine, and I'm so excited to connect with you today to share a first look at an upcoming deck from Liminal 11. This is the Seed and Sickle Oracle deck from Fez Inkwright. It is beautiful as always from Liminal 11. I've had a quick peek inside the box, but for the most part you will be getting my first impressions. So let's take a look. Once again, really high quality box from Liminal 11. I think they are leading the way in decks at this price point for quality. When we open it up, we see one to wither, one to grow, one for the she, and one for the crow. And I love this morning and night design. And when we look inside, we can see the deck has some beautiful artwork printed inside there. And then once again, we have everything fitting in just right. Oh, one more card. It's stuck inside. We do have this piece of cardboard, which I typically just get rid of. So that's gone. And then we're going to look at the cards in a minute, but first we're going to look at the guidebooks, because this is what really makes this deck unique, because it contains two guidebooks. There is a Dawn guidebook and a Dusk guidebook. So depending on when and how you're using the deck or what kind of advice you want, you choose which guidebook to use. And then of course you have your intuition as well. So there are 3 different ways to read with this deck. So I just want to briefly talk about the difference between, the two guidebooks. So basically it's saying that the Dawn messages are great when you're starting something new. Are you starting a new project, building a relationship, or revitalizing yourself? If you're undertaking a period of expansion and growth that will benefit you further down the line, let your day brighten with the rising sun and read the Dawn meanings for advice on how to get there. And this booklet contains the Dawn readings, and then it says if you're looking for guidance on how to best take care of your body and mind, use the Dusk booklet for a more holistic reading. So we're going to look at the cards, and then we'll do a quick reading, or at least pull a card and check out both messages and see how that unfolds, because I'm pretty excited about that. So here are your cards. Beautiful matte cardstock. Love the backs, and a nice quality. They do have a little bit of a sheen. You can see it was catching the light a little bit there. But let's take a look. So we start with the Seed, and this is card 0. Let me zoom in a little on these. That's interesting that it is card 0. I don't usually see that in Oracle decks. That is something typically we see reserved for tarot. So interesting. Okay, birch. Really beautiful art style. I love the color palette. I love just the softness of this. You know, I think about, like, for whatever reason, what's coming to mind is like Little House on the Prairie, right? Oh, this is interesting. I said Little House on the Prairie. I noticed the poppies. It took me a little bit longer to see that skull in there. So it's not all softness, despite this beautiful magnolia. Chickweed with the snake. I personally love working with snake and serpent energy, so I'm excited that there's some of that in this deck. Love this jasmine card with the athame. Cornflower. This also just reminds me of like planting and preserving prairie, which is something I did a lot of in my teen years at my high school. So there's a lot of fun memories attached. Love the compass here. Oak with the lightning. This almost reminds me of the Tower card. Tulip. Moonwort with a key. I think this deck, you know, my first impression here is that it's a little bit deceptively simple. We have a neat vintage perfume bottle on this card. Like, it's bluebells, right? But then there's the book, there's these arrows through it, and there's a lot of these hidden symbols that we are seeing in some of these cards. So I think that, you know, while there is some simplicity in the imagery, especially at first glance, I think as you really spend time with this deck, you may notice just that there's more to it than meets the eye, right? Like, there's just quite a lot happening. Basil, look at this kind of statue head on here. Wow. I'm really curious to pull in the guidebooks for some of these. Let's just do that now, shall we? I gotta know what's going on here. Okay, so let's start with the Dawn guidebook and check out the meaning for this card. Okay, it looks like, oh, yep, they have numbers. So, okay. The guidebook is a little bit, as I'm looking at the organization of it, it was a little bit, I don't want to say tricky to find, but when you get to the section of the cards, they're not in alphabetical order. They're by number, except that the number is not listed, you know, here. You have to just look here. So I just had to go to 24 that way. That's hardly a big deal, but just something I'm noticing. Okay. So it says, for our Dawn meaning, you're due to set out on a journey, be it physical or spiritual, so be ready for a change in your life. In Italy, pots of basil are left on windowsills to indicate that guests are welcome. And in Tudor England, basil was given as a gift to ensure safety while traveling. Drawing this card suggests you're inviting in a change of scenery. Be sensible about your decisions, and your feet will lead you safely where you need to go. So I love that meaning. I'll need to spend some time with this imagery because I think there's a lot here. What's funny about me being drawn to this card today and reading that message is I'm actually getting in the car to travel on a literal journey, like right after I finish this video. So I find that a little bit just humorous. Okay, and then let's check it out in the Dusk guidebook. It says, there is growth to be found in helping others achieve the same goal. In India, a leaf of holy basil is placed on the forehead of the deceased to ensure that Vishnu will see them and welcome them into heaven. By giving your time and energy to others, you will draw the same good energy that you are giving away towards yourself. Okay, I love that message as well. And that gives me a little bit more in terms of the card imagery. What I'm loving about that right now is this is a key theme in my life right now. So, yeah, just like loving myself in the same way I give to other people, right? So, really powerful messages from card 24, at least for me, but I hope that helps you guys see the difference in the two guidebooks and then, you know, what you're taking from your intuition, which for me, this card is an offering. And I feel like I'm really taken back to ancient Greece with this imagery. That's what I'm getting from the statue and those kind of things there. And so, just a reminder to be like of service, and I guess devotion and dedication. So there's a lot you can work with this deck, but let's return to the cards. Hops. Hawthorn. Of course, that's great for working with the Fae. If you like working with Fae energy, I think this deck is a very obvious choice for that. Mushrooms. Oleander. Of course, here's some more snake. That's a beautiful card. Oh, dandelion. I really love dandelions. I was just having a conversation about that recently. That like I don't see them as weeds. I see them as beautiful. And you know, so many times like children find them beautiful and then we're taught that they're weeds, and I just find that interesting. Like, what made them stop being beautiful, right? Elder, it's beautiful. I love the imagery here. Is it wrong that this card just makes me want to sneeze? I have so many allergies. Thistle. More geometry. Crocus. Strawberry. Blackthorn, that's beautiful. Oh, I love the rosary with rose. That's gorgeous. And now you're seeing the cards start to get a little bit darker. The cards do go in order of the seasons, and I didn't really mention that, but we kind of start at spring and work our way through summer, fall, and winter, and that's why you're seeing some of this darker energy, like literally in terms of the color palette and such, as we are headed into winter here. Holly, mistletoe. Okay, so that makes sense there, right? It's interesting, like, I don't get kissing vibes from this mistletoe, which is what our natural association is. Chamomile. Winter is such a great time of restoration. Beautiful apple. And of course, we started with the seed and ended with sickle, so we can harvest and begin anew. So those are the cards. Really, really beautiful deck. Let's go ahead and do a little 2-card reading here. We'll just see what comes up, shall we? So I'm gonna do an oracle card reading that's like a current favorite. Sorry for my little zoomsies there. A current favorite theme, which is, I think, just you know, a 2-card reading, and you simply ask, like, what do you want to bring forward and what do you want to release? And so you're asking, like, what to call forward and what to let go of. What do I want more of? What do I want less of? And that's just kind of a really neat way to do a reading, whether it's for your day or your week or your month or your year or whatever you want to go. I'm kind of in a season of transition, and since this deck is seasonal, I'm going to think of it that way. But I invite you to just take a minute, take a breath. Because this is a first reading for me, I am going to, this will surprise no one, do my selenite wand, tap, tap, tap. You can check out the video on my channel on other ways I use selenite wands with my cards, but I do just like to clear them that way. It's my little ritual. I do a longer blessing when I'm off camera, but for now, this will work. Okay, so invite you to just kind of quiet your mind and ask, you know, focus on this time of your life, like whatever you're looking for guidance on, and simply ask, to get where I want to go, what do I need to bring forward? And what do I need to release? Ooh, these are beautiful together. So citrus and mandrake. And I'm going to read from the guidebooks just because I think that's really valuable with this particular deck. What's interesting is they almost look like they connect, don't they? They don't quite, because they're not even next to each other in the deck, but they just have that feeling. So I'm going to read from the Dawn guidebook for what we're bringing forward, and from the Dusk guidebook for what we want to release. So for bringing forward, and let's see how this resonates for you. We are going with, here we go. What's interesting is both of these cards are in the winter section of the deck. Okay. This is a card of capability and empowerment. You've been stuck in a limbo lately, waiting for someone to make time to help you. Ultimately, however, it will be faster to brush up on the skills you lack and do things yourself. Be like a citrus fruit with all its important nutrients. Fill yourself with value and strength that will benefit you both now and into the future. I love that. Some of you know I'm in the process of moving. I've been saying that all year, I realize, but it's a double move, right? So I went from my home to my temporary home, then I'm getting ready now to go to the permanent home. Sorry, I keep fidgeting. So that's interesting, right? And what I just think about with this is I'm a big believer in asking for help, but I think that the message here is to be self-reliant and not be afraid of trying, and to not allow ourselves to get stuck in a helplessness, right? Like that's really easy to have happen. Like I can't do this, or I need someone to do this for me. I really get that way about my car. Like I don't even want to fill my own tires with air or get my own oil changes. I always want someone to help me do that. And that's just a little bit ridiculous. Those things aren't that hard. So thinking about bringing forward that self-reliance and personal power energy, right? Okay, and then what do we want to release in this time? We're going to go to the Dusk guidebook for the Mandrake card. Okay, it says, whether being used for magical or medicinal purposes, Mandrake has been valued for thousands of years by those who grow it. It takes 3 years to reach its full potency, however. Do not judge yourself by the speed at which others grow. You may need more time to reach your full potential, and there is no shame in that. Okay, this is awesome, right? Because it's about releasing comparison and expectation, right? And I know, like, this is such a message for me even day to day, like how I live with chronic pain, and I was going to say chronic energy. That makes it sound like I have a lot of energy, and I don't. I'm very much low energy just due to my MS. And so I do have to do things more slowly than other people, including moving, which takes a whole year. So great reminders. I'm really loving this deck. It's a really beautiful message, and I think it's a great deck. Again, for anyone who loves that like energy of working with nature or the seasons or the fae, I think this deck will serve you well. So it is the Seed and the Sickle. Thank you to Liminal 11 for sending me this to share it with you. Check the description box below for information on how to pre-order this deck. I'll also be sure to link my Selenite Wand video there for you. And you'll also find some other information there about stuff coming up with me if you're interested in that. So if you liked this video, please like, subscribe, comment, all the things, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill if you've been on YouTube at all, right? We all ask you to do that because it does make a difference. And my final thought, please, 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 please remember, it is okay if you are struggling, right? Like that is the message in the cards today. That is a message from my heart to yours. It is okay if you are struggling. There is always periods of darkness, and there is always periods of dawn. The light is coming. You are right where you need to be, and all will be well. Take a deep breath. Know that you are divine, you are loved, and you are so much more powerful and worthy and enough than you could ever possibly imagine. All my love, and I will see you next time.